everybody, a part of the crew, knows that we've been checking out division by division. We're going team by team every week, every day, excuse me. You got a couple of teams, and we're giving you the winning plays for this upcoming season. While the college football starts this week, NFL, we're still a few weeks away. We got preseason week number 3 here. Everybody's getting their fantasy drafts ready. We're giving you the winning picks, and that includes team totals every single day here. We hone in on 2 teams. So the first one that we're looking at today, the Baltimore Ravens. Total is 10.5. All right. So over 10.5, we're looking at -120. Under 10.5, we're at +100. It is important to note, last year, 13 wins for the Ravens, 13-4, AFC North champion. I believe they were the number 1 overall seed. We know the big story, though, guys. In Baltimore, this is always a good team. It's usually a double-digit win team. But A, can Lamar Jackson stay healthy? B, can Lamar Jackson win big playoff games? We don't know. Both of them are always in doubt with this Raven team. So, Raphael, let's start with you. Ravens, over-under 10.5. And then also we'll make sure we get another play on the Ravens, a future play as well. What do you got?
I'm going to under on this even money, even though I hammered BetMGM on the under at 11.5 when this total was first posted over the summer. So it's a great middle spot. You can even bet the over if you got that 11.5 and have a great middle. Maybe go 10-7 and cash both tickets. This play is all about on how the other teams in this division could be better. And I think maybe it's going to be a complete wash. Maybe everyone be close to 8, 9, 10 wins for the whole division. That's why I kind of like the under in this one. And don't forget the Ravens last year. I think they had 13 games that they won. I'm sorry, this year's schedule, 13 teams they play with that are projected to have 8 wins or more on their total season wins. Their schedule is tough, so I just think that's going to be an issue. And then they lost a lot in the O-line. I know they have King Henry there and some key pieces left in defense. So I just think the schedule and how they lost some key players, I think I'm going to go with the under on this one. But it's a great spot because this division is going to be fantastic to watch overall anyways.
Arguably the best division in football. All right. Baltimore. Think about it like this, Raphael. The team that finished last in the division last year was a 9-win Cincinnati Bengals team. Like, I understand Joe Burrow, he couldn't finish the season. He missed a bunch of games, but a 9-win Bengals team was last in the AFC North. Raphael, maybe the best division in football, yes?
I completely agree. I mean, but I don't see another one even close to it just because, Steelers going to be better, even though we still have issues on their quarterback. The Browns, is Watson going to be able to play the whole season? But that defense is going to be around. Eminem over at Cincinnati, is he going to stay healthy? Joe Burrow as the quarterback. So this division is going to be so fun to watch.
Raphael, let's also get a future play. So you like Ravens under 10.5 wins. What else can we look at for the future?
Lamar Jackson's under 4.5 rushing touchdowns, and this because of King Henry's there. I mean, if they're going to be close to the goal line, just give it to the King. His big body's going to push one over. I'm just not sold. Last year, he had 5 rushing touchdowns, but the last 2 years after that was under that number. Granted, he was injured, but again, King Henry in that backfield, the offensive line being a little bit improved on the right side where King Henry likes to go. I think that if they're close to getting a touchdown, why not give it to him? You signed him. So I just think King Henry's the main reason why Lamar Jackson goes under touchdowns.
Kind of feel like you don't see very many running backs like Derrick Henry anymore, where every single year, I know he was just under 300 carries last year, but he's either at or over 300 carries each year, and doesn't eventually he's going to fall off a cliff and slow down, but we haven't seen it yet. A really rare throwback running back these days in the league, Derrick Henry. Charles, Ravens, 10.5 wins. You like the over. What do you like about it?
Yeah, that I do. I kind of disagree. I think the schedule's favorable. Look, they get the Raiders, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. Even if they split with those, the Broncos, Chargers, Giants, Texans, Bucks, Commanders, Cowboys, then Bills, Chiefs, Eagles. They could, those are 50-50 splits as well. So yeah, 13-4 last season. I could definitely see 11 wins at worst, based off of that schedule as well. So yeah, sign me up. Over 10.5 wins for the Ravens.
And how about a Ravens future, Charles?
Most regular season wins for the Ravens as well. This is a hungry, motivated team at plus 550. I think it's worth a flyer.
13 wins last year. Like we said, number 1 in the AFC. I like that plus 550 Ravens most regular season wins. Good job, Charles. AB, What do you have here? Ravens, you like the over as well.
Yeah, there's no question here with the Ravens in the regular season. I mean, they're the best regular season team, arguably, every single year. You said it best. The playoffs is where it comes into question. So if you're asking me regular season wins, yeah, no question at all. I'm taking the over there.
And Ravens' future?
All right, so Derrick Henry, all right, goes from the Titans over to the Ravens. And you're just talking about a guy like, when's he going to fall off? Let me tell you, never. Now, I mean, it's going to happen at some point. But look, I've seen Derrick Henry rush for 2,000 yards without an offensive line. The guy keeps going. He said it ever since he was in Alabama, all right? Same quote. Says it every year. Ball ain't heavy. Give it to me, right? Like, he works harder than anybody else that's on that team. He's stronger than anybody else on that team. He can go toe-to-toe with any of the offensive linemen on that team. They're going to give him the ball in the red zone there. So take him over 10.5 rushing touchdowns. He'll also throw one. I don't know if anybody out there has paid attention to Derrick Henry and his passing touchdowns. He's thrown one, I think, 3 years in a row now? Take that bet. He'll have one again. I assure you that the Ravens will use him creatively in the red zone down there. And a fun fact here, you talk about a guy, him falling off, right? Derrick Henry, he's the only human being to walk this planet that's had 2,000 rushing yards in a high school season, 2,000 rushing yards in a college season, and 2,000 rushing yards in an NFL season. No one in the history of life has ever done that. He's the only person. Yeah, he'll be just fine.
Finally, as far as the Ravens win total this year goes, I'm going to go over as well. All right. So that's going to make it 3 out of the 4 of us with over 10.5 wins for the Ravens. For me, look, it's arguably the toughest division in football. The only other division that I think rivals it is that NFC North division. But I think the AFC North is the best division in football nonetheless. This is a Ravens team last year that won 13 games. The total's 10.5. There's not a lot of reason to believe that they're going to be more than 2 games worse. If they're going to be worse at all this coming season, there's really no reason to believe they're going to be more than 2 games worse. Derrick Henry, if you're worried about Lamar Jackson's health, which is always a worry, hey, you got to figure the fantasy football owner may not love Lamar Jackson having another big bruising running back to hand the ball off to because it could be less rushing yards for the quarterback. But if you can give the ball to Derrick Henry, you give the ball to Derrick Henry. That should go a long way toward keeping Lamar Jackson fresh and healthy. But like I said, I don't believe there's any reason that this team would be more than 2 games worse this year, if worse at all. So I got Ravens over 10.5 wins. Also, as far as my prop goes, if we could throw it back on the screen there, I want to make sure that I have the exact yardage correct. Lamar Jackson under 3,250.5, that was a mouthful, passing yards on the season, minus 110. And I'll go back to Derrick Henry. If you got Derrick Henry, it's win now mode. You didn't bring him in for nothing. You're going to hand the ball off 250, maybe a little bit more, 250 times to Derrick Henry. That's less opportunity for Lamar Jackson to throw, but that's a good thing. So I'm going under the passing yard total there for Lamar Jackson on the season. There you have it. So in total, just to recap real quick, 3 out of 4 of us have the Ravens over 10.5 wins on the season. AB?
Yep. So I wanted to bring up something. Dwayne in the chat brings up a really good point. All right. You might see Derrick Henry handed off to Lamar Jackson. If you're looking at this bet in regards to Derrick Henry rushing touchdowns, rushing yards, etc., understand that he will run the King Cat, which is just the Wildcat, with him as the quarterback. He'll do it all over the field. He'll do it at his own goal line. He'll do it at your goal line. He did it for the Titans with Mike Vrabel forever. John Harbaugh will do the exact same thing because it's even more difficult to tackle Derrick Henry when he's got a 2-step head start on you. Yeah, if you're looking at anything Derrick Henry, understand that will be in play as well.